In fact, in race after race, and what we're seeing when these trans women, these biological men win, is you see the next in line, the actual woman say, "Oh, I'm fine with it. Oh, it's okay. I'm fine. I'm supportive." And your belief is that's BS.
Yeah, they have to, because otherwise they lose sponsorship. They get canceled by their teams. I mean, we've watched a lot of these team sponsors actively go after any of the women who might even try to speak up. They are told to be quiet. And I mean, you saw what they did to me. This is what happens to any women that do speak up. We watched what happened to Chloe Dygert when she liked the tweet of a Black woman that was about protecting women's rape shelters, and they labeled her as racist. And I'm like, hold on, do you guys not see that she liked a Black woman's tweet, but you labeled her as racist? And this is what they're willing to do, anything and everything to silence. And so they'll take anything that an athlete does and blow it out of proportion into something that it wasn't even. But as soon as you start saying racist, Nazi, fascist, hoping that it will silence any woman, and it has worked, I think, up until now, where we have so many people speaking up now, like specifically, like right now it's a lot of the more right-leaning media. Left-leaning still won't touch it. Any bicycling media will not touch it, but they will in order to attack you. And when
you say the advertisers are all over you, what, they pull their sponsorships from you as a cyclist?
They will pull sponsorship. I mean, I'm going to go back to Chloe Dygert. I hate picking on her here, but did you see what Rafa did when Chloe Dygert liked Candace Owens' tweet about protecting rape shelters? Chloe was forced to put out an apology, and
Candace was tweeting saying, "Keep rape shelters for women only. Don't allow trans
for women only."
people."
And she liked a tweet by Candace Owens.
Okay.
And she was forced to put out an apology by her team, and then Rafa came out and said that was not enough of an apology, and basically sent her to. Rafa is a clothing company, and high-end clothing company, and they came back and they said that apology was not good enough. It was not enough. We need you to apologize more.
Oh my God.
Think about what happens to a young woman athlete when they go through this. Like let's look at our woman tennis player just not too recently, long ago, maybe a year ago. Osaka. Sorry, I can't remember her name right now.
Naomi Osaka.
That talked about her mental health and taking care of it. And yet here we have Rafa that says it's not enough. We need another apology. And we want everybody to know that we're sending her to re-education camp. And I mean, they drug this poor woman through the gutter. Thankfully, Chloe is as strong as she is, but where would we be if she had not been that strong? And she had committed suicide from the incredible onslaught and defamation that got levied against this poor athlete. I mean, where are all the people screaming bloody murder about what you just did to a woman's mental health?
Where are the teammates to say, we don't need you, Rafa? We got a lot of sponsors. We stand with our teammate in solidarity with her.
You can't do it or they all lose their sponsorship.
Oh my gosh, this is terrible.
Yeah, no, it is beyond repulsive what is happening to women in sports. And I'm hoping that in about 10 years, we will see this as one of the biggest tragedies and scandals against women and against children is this ideology movement, and all of the people that just didn't stand behind it and said nothing, but have actively attacked anybody who speaks up.
What has your experience been, Hannah? First of all, talk to us about the decision to peace out of the sport that you loved, and then whether you had any blowback because you deigned to explain why.
So there were multiple reasons why I left the sport. It was definitely part of it. The biggest thing that I want to focus on now that I'm out, though, is that it is wrong. It is unfair to have guys racing in the women's sports. I don't want to watch any more of the young athletes I helped mentor have to go through that or have to look forward, but not even look forward, dread that if they get in the elite women's field one day, which would be a dream come true for them, that they don't get to race women, they have to race guys. And it's sad to think that something we fought so hard for. We have a great men's field, we have a great women's field. Why are we trying to blend the two? Like there's no point to it. They're not following science. So yeah, it's just I hope that people will wake up and realize that this can't go on.
Have you received any blowback, or have people been respectful?
The day I went and did the signing of that Supreme Court brief, I had to put all my social medias on private, and just kind of be like, you know what? There are just people who are going to be saying some not life-giving things. They're just going to say some really vulgar things that I don't need to hear. No one needs to hear that. And just walk away from that part, which it's as much as most people can do to anyone who is outside the sport. Mm-hmm. But it's a big reason why nobody in the sport will say anything. Because if your social media platform gets blasted like that, that's your biggest platform to speak about your sponsors. Sponsors see that, no one wants to touch you. If no one wants to touch you, guess what? It's an expensive sport and you can't race. And I've also known some ladies who would have loved to say something about it, and they're afraid to lose their job. Pretty sure they would lose their job because even their workplace would have been down on them for it. Like there's no freedom of speech for it.
Right. I mean, you're in a similar situation to Riley Gaines, who was forced to swim against Leah Thomas and tied for third. And then they gave Leah the trophy. They wanted the picture with Leah, not with Riley. And Riley, people have accused her of, Katie Porter, I think, accused her of, it's all about you. And Riley's saying, I'm supposed to be, I think it was in dentistry school right now, or to be a dental hygienist. I didn't mean to become an activist. I just wanted to help the women coming after me who aren't in a position to speak out now that I am. But still, you saw what happened to her at that San Francisco State University. I mean, that's probably what would happen to you, Hannah, if you went on a college tour and just in the kind, respectful manner that you speak, told your story. That they would do the same to you, because you're not even allowed to, when you have standing to object, lodge that objection. Even those words, your feelings, are too offensive to be spoken, to be expressed. And that leads me back to you, Inga. So you went on Fox and raised some of these issues and said, despite the 22 studies, they don't listen to testimonials. It's, this UCI review where we're going to have a new result in August is a farce. And you said, I'm calling for female cyclists to protest, maybe take a knee, do what you can for fans to come and make their voices heard, for coaches to try to protect their players. And very soon thereafter, the Cynisca Cycling Board, which is a France-based American pro-women's cycling team. So it's an American team, but it's based in France. I mean, you were on their board. They parted ways with you, and how? What they wrote was so disgusting. I mean, I'm glad you can laugh about it now, because I'm sure it was very jarring when you saw this organization. How long had you been working with them, first of all, just to set the scene?
Well, the reason why I'm laughing about it is back in November when I joined Cynisca, I told them my stance and that I'm very, very outspoken. And Jeff Jones, who bankrolls the team, and the other co-owner, Chris Kotowski, agreed with my position. And I have the email chain to back this up. And in one of the emails, it said they would be breaking windows and rioting in the streets if they were women. And they were very supportive of me. And so when the Riley Gaines incident happened, I was asked to advocate more and to advocate louder. And I said, I don't think that would be good for me to be on the board of Cynisca if I did that. And so we had an agreement. And once again, these are in emails, had an agreement that I would step down from Syniska and advocate more loudly. And that's what I did. And so really nice email letter about wanting to advocate more. And then within about 2 weeks, here comes Chris Gutowski tweeting out this hateful that I was dehumanizing and demagoguery and bullying, that I was bullying. And I'm like, hold on a second. So you mean that it's dehumanizing for me to speak out to protect women? I think it's actually dehumanizing for men to be competing against women. Demagoguery, that's on the political side. I'm going to argue that one and say this is a human rights issue. This is a sports issue. It's about fairness. And I said, so, and bullying when I'm speaking up for women's sports is
Wait a minute. This is just dawning on me now because I'm an outsider. They spun it like they had fired you. What you're saying is you voluntarily left with a handshake to go work on your advocacy without them saying, get out. You're terrible. You no longer represent. Because the way they spun it in the media is Inga sucks. She's a transphobe. Bye. I'm learning this for the first time.
Yeah. No, I mean, if anything, I mean, I really like Jeff Jones. He paid me to step aside and go speak up more because he was so upset about what happened to Riley Gaines. And when Chris Gutowski wrote this letter, even Jeff Jones came back and said, what the explicative did you write this for? We had an agreement. She honored her agreement to quietly walk away, and now you're going to do this to her? I mean, there was
smear you. Let me tell the audience what they said, and then you continue, so they know what they did. There's a couple of choice pull quotes. The statement said, if shared in the absence of politics, Inga's knowledge and experience would benefit many and advance cycling for everyone. However, she's decided to dedicate her time to excluding people that are otherwise and currently eligible to compete in UCI events. She has also attempted to use our team as a platform for her political activity. Development teams the team states that due to associations with Inga, some lost media exposure. Some respected cycling journalists refused to cover the team, while qualified and competent people have declined job offers out of fear of crossing or appearing to align themselves with her, meaning you. Ms. Thompson's departure resolves a troubling conflict of interest. Syniska is an apolitical organization, and her campaign and methods are not and will never be Syniska's mission. Here's the final. To be clear, she's entitled to her opinions and advocacy, but her methods and personal attacks are inconsistent with our mission to advance opportunities for women. Those methods, well documented on Ms. Thompson's social media presence, include dehumanization of transgender people, spreading misinformation, demagoguery, and personal attacks on anyone who opposes her views. Our mission has been and always will be that of advancing women at all levels of cycling and doing so in a framework of equality, fairness, and intolerance. Despite the negativity fostered by Ms. Thompson, we are succeeding and we will push forward faster without her.
I just start laughing. My standing up for women and fairness for women's sports, women's rights issues, putting forth scientific studies. I'm just going to sit there and laugh. I mean, what a great spin job.
Look, you did the tough thing during COVID. You paid your people and pulled your business through the pandemic. And now doing the tough thing could qualify you for up to $26,000 per employee at covidtaxrelief.org. Government funds are available right now to reward companies with 2 or more employees who stayed open during COVID. This is not a loan, and you don't have to pay it back. The program's complicated, but no one knows more about it than the CPAs and tax pros at covidtaxrelief.org. You pay nothing up front. They do all the work and share a percentage of the cash they get you. Businesses of all types, including nonprofits and churches, can qualify, even those who took PPP loans, and even if you had increases in sales. You did the tough thing for your employees during COVID. Now let covidtaxrelief.org help get you up to $26,000 per employee. Visit covidtaxrelief.org, covidtaxrelief.org, covidtaxrelief.org. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.